How's it going, guys? So today we're doing a death battle. There's just nothing from movie trailers and stuff like that. And I just watched a recently death battle of Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers. Why they bother even doing that just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Jason will always beat Michael. He's just far more superior in strength and things like that. Plus, he's ungoddamn dead. So, I chose an older death battle because I know some of the newer ones will just instantly get blocked. So by choosing an older one, it shouldn't technically get blocked. And since I'm, in high hopes that the one that did before will eventually get unblocked. So, Ganondorf versus Dracula. If you don't know who Ganondorf is, he's basically the main villain protagonist in Zelda. And Zelda's been around, Zelda's been around for a while. I think I want to say Zelda even predates GameCube. I could be completely wrong on that. I've never owned a GameCube, but I know everyone brags about Majora's Mask being like the best one. And then there was the latest one came out, 2-3 years ago? So he's basically just been the main bad guy for Zelda. And I always got Zelda and Link always confused. And especially for the super fan nerds, they're going there's a difference between Zelda and Link. Well, for someone who doesn't play Zelda, I didn't know that. Link was the actual elf boy. Zelda is the princess. So yeah, if you didn't know that, then there's that. Because there are diehard fans who will just lose their shit when they find that out. It's like, how could you not know that? So, putting that aside, Dracula, the famous vampire and the one supposed to be the first one to exist of his kind. There's a difference between Dracula and Alucard. Alucard was more like more human form of him, but still vampire himself. And highly recommend if you ever have Netflix, if it's even still in there, watching the Castlevania series. Great ones. There have been several Dracula movies throughout time, especially when it started out with Bram Stoker's, and then John Carpenter's and so on and so forth. And then there's Hellsing. Great anime. And I previously, was a year or two ago when they put it out, it was Alucard versus Dio. That was such a bad fight that they literally favored, well, I'm not going to say if you haven't watched it, but it was definitely a one-sided match and would never happen, in my personal opinion. And as for Dracula, it depends on which version, if I'm going, well, there it shows it there, Castlevania one. There's actually two versions of them. There's the older one, the one that had Patrick Stewart, who would voice the Castlevania games. And then there's ones that actually predate that, the little miniature platform ones. And then there was the, Lord of Shadows. There's that Dracula too. So I guess I go with the Castlevania one. So usually the only thing that puts down Dracula tends to be holy magic. So unless Ganondorf can pull something out of his ass with that, it's going to take a lot to take out Dracula. So I pretty much skipped all the introduction and stuff like that because it's a 22-minute video. And, you should already know enough. So we're just getting straight into the battle. Mr. Ganondorf himself. Of course,
target acquired. Unlock dual jump.
Alright, we're back. Stupid advertisements. Well, I gotta ruin everything. Oh yeah.
Your castle is lost, vampire. No man can challenge my power.
Good thing he's not a man.
What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets.
Oh, you're not dropping that. You can get the hell out of here. No. This is a special fight. Especially, and Happy Halloween, too. This is one of the main reasons why I actually chose this death battle.
I'm no mere man.
He's also a sorcerer, too. So is Dracula. Come on. Take one of the first straight thing on Dracula. He's one of the lords of the supernatural worlds.
Your tricks mean nothing.
already knows he's getting copyright claims because of music alone. And I would put on captions, but YouTube captions suck. Oh, strike force stuff. That's all you're bringing to the fight there, Gnadonrf. You're screwed, buddy. Just one of many forms of Dracula. No Ganondorf has his own moves too. Battle of the Titans. Technically, we kind of low level job. I gotta go.
You're right. You're not a man. You're a pig. Let me hear you squeal.
Nice. KO! Yeah, that's about right. I'm not going to go any past post credits. We're just going to do straight to the death battle. Yeah, Dracula would be considered at least a low level tier god. Nothing really too high up on the thing. I'd say, you know, maybe between low to mid tier. Probably ranks around maybe like Thor level. You know, just because he's the Lord of Blood, Lord of Chaos. You know, he's the Lord of Vampires. And you put against a sorcerer like Ganondorf against Dracula. Ganondorf, you just seen, he put up a decent fight, but only having one mere way of actually trying to take out Dracula with that holy blade and that blow, you just seen failed in Dracula, at least one of his supernatural forms. It's gonna take a lot more than the goddamn sword to take him out. You know, in Lord of Shadows, he was the one who was actually taking out the other lords of the supernaturals. That was like werewolves and magic, and I think other vampires and other chaos and supernatural beings, stuff like that. He was just slaughtering them left and right, and slowly started making a name for himself, and you know, consuming their powers and just getting more and more stronger. You know, with Ganondorf, he was, don't really know too much about him, but I know he was a powerful enough sorcerer to pretty much conquer his world for a certain extent. So, does not surprise me that Dracula won this one. However, on the other hand, I would love to see a death battle if would ever pull it off. Would be a Castlevania Dracula versus an Alucard Helsing fight. That is a fight I would love to see. You know, I think that just two unstoppable powers right there alone would be awesome. But like I said, pretty much skip the intro, skip the post credits just because of copyright claims. I know it's already going to get a copyright claim just because of the music alone. So. You know, as a gamer, you know, you should already know who these two are. But I hope you guys' Halloween's going good if you haven't started it already. And I know some people were started like a couple days before. But hope you guys been staying safe, healthy, and sanitized. Make sure you always check your candy for Halloween. And make sure you drop a like and think about subscribing. And I'll see you guys around.